Well, the Dallas Cowboys fall to the Washington Commanders, and we're here to talk about it right here on the replay. So buckle up. Let's ride. Yes, that's right. The Dallas Cowboys fall to the Washington Commanders 23-19. Last second heroics once again is another spoiler, and the Dallas Cowboys are the victims. Well, I guess turnabout is fair play. First time around, it was the Dallas Cowboys with the heroics coming back to steal that game, and this time it's the Washington Commanders. And truthfully, I wasn't going to even come on here, but it's the finale. It's the last game of the season, and so I said, why not? Why not come on here live and talk about the lowly Cowboys and the lowly season that they had? Yes, finishing the season in a lowly 7-10 schedule. I don't even know what to say. 17 to 18 weeks of that. Really? And then if you go all the way back to OTAs, man, they get you all excited for the NFL draft, then the OTAs, then summer camp, training camp, then the preseason, then you start the regular season, you wind up finishing 7-10. So that's the way it is. All those weeks gone by, and this is the results. This is the results. So, I said, we started out talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to end that way. Why not? So let's go ahead and do this thing live right here on the replay. Well, we're still trying to make your day. Now, do me one small favor before we continue to cover the Dallas Cowboys post game. Hit that subscribe, like, share, and notification button for me as we continue to grow the channel. But again, the Dallas Cowboys is defeated by the Washington Commanders, and they had their chance to win the game. And it really came down to some crucial plays of the game, some plays that was missed and some plays that was made on both sides. Personally, again, I don't want to start on my TV box, but our safeties, like I said, Donovan Wilson, don't get me wrong, he plays hard. I think he's an in the box type safety, but when it comes to pass defense, I think we could do a lot better. And I've been warned. I remember when they drafted him out of Texas A&M as a rookie, and I always said, I think that young man got a bright future because he plays with his heart, and he's a tough safety in the box. But I didn't know his pass defense was going to suffer as much. I don't know if that's because they changed defensive coordinators, which I don't think so. I'm only giving them a pass, the last maybe couple of years because they had those rotating what they call three-headed monster safeties. But if you look at our safeties overall, they just don't make a lot of plays back there in the pass defense. They don't get a lot of interceptions. And we saw, what's been the Achilles heel once again, that surfaced. Zach Ertz from the Washington Commanders, he caught the touchdown on a little flat out on Donovan Wilson. And then I don't even know, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Did you hear Malik Hooker's name get called for anything today? Yeah, Dallas, man, once again, this been a norm all season. I don't know if you bring Mike Zimmer back. I don't know. The jury's still out on that. Personally, I would have liked to see the Dallas Cowboys elevate Al Harris up to the defensive coordinator position. Don't even look outside. Don't even go outside the box. Just go ahead and elevate Al Harris to defensive coordinator if he wants the position. He may not want the position. I'm not quite sure, but nevertheless, I still have to extend him the offer. Why not? I mean, you had other African-American defensive coordinators. They even had Joe Witt. Y'all saw Joe Witt, right? Joe Witt is defensive coordinator over at the Washington Commanders now, who was with the Dallas Cowboys the last couple of years, assistant coach under Dan Quinn's defense. So now he's a defensive coordinator. So all these African-American defensive coordinators out there, and you tell me that you can't find one, Dallas, when you've never really had one. You gave us a little token back under Wade Phillips with Brian Stewart, who only lasted 6 games. So you mean to tell me you can't go out there and find an African-American defensive coordinator I mean, this is sad. And to get the one-on-one matchup with DaRon Bland, first and foremost, I don't scheme wise, you can go back and forth and see, again, this is why I say it kind of falls on the defensive coordinator in a way, because McLaren is their number one receiver. So the question has to be, why would you leave DaRon Bland one-on-one? I'm talking about in that situation. We know DaRon Bland is a good cover corner, and he's a Pro Bowl corner. We know these things. But why would you leave him one-on-one with just a few seconds left in that situation? And then on top of it, he's not even in bump and run. He's not even in press coverage. He's playing soft. He's playing off the man. So you're still giving him an opportunity. Either way, when you look at it, you're giving him to close your cushion because you're playing with a short field. And all Mariotti had to do was step back, man, two-step drop and just get, release the ball at a high point, let him go up and get it. That's exactly what happened. So I'm asking the question, why was DaRon Bland not in press coverage, man-to-man, bump and run? If you want to creep a safety over there, fine. I would have done that too. But I'm not going to be beaten on a one-on-one with less than 10 seconds left in the game. And that is what makes me question the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. Have the game passed him by? I mean, that's a serious question. Have the game passed Mike Zimmer by? I want to welcome in my man Danny, Cowboys Nation, in the house. Yeah, we're talking about these Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders, the post-game show right here on the replay. And I've seen a lot of mistakes. Again, we got the 15-yard face mask penalty that was called on Donovan Wilson. I think that was crucial on a crucial drive, which gave them an automatic first down. And if you can't get home to the passer, somehow, some way, you got to figure out how to scheme this thing up. We got home on blitzes, but can we get home just by rushing 4? I mean, that would help a lot, because if you don't have individuals, man, that can get home rushing 4 from time to time, I mean, you leave yourself vulnerable in the pass defense on that third level. It is what it is. Because if you miss, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a teaching moment. And we live by the sword and die by the sword today in terms of the blitz. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the way we went for it, and they got Mariotti to the ground. He came in off the bench as a substitute for Jaden McDaniel, and he was kind of had Dallas Cowboys kind of discombobulated. But then Mike Zimmer kind of turned the heat up on him, and he wasn't as sufficient as he was when he first came in the game. But yet and still, you can't keep blitzing all the time. Your four-man pass rush has to get home at some point. At some point. Yeah, let me read what my guy Danny says about Mike McCarthy. Yeah, I believe that Mike McCarthy got to go. I called it from the first training camp this year because I knew it from the start when he coached in Green Bay, and then he got fired because that's what you don't get. Cause yeah, I mean, hey man, I agree with you. I agree with you. He wasn't mine. To be honest with you, he was not. And I'm gonna repeat, he was not my first choice as the head coach. He just wasn't he wasn't. I would have liked to have seen him, even last year if you wanted to make the move once Bill Belichick was available. I mean, why not? You're talking about a 7-time Super Bowl winning coach who would have brought some discipline. The fact of the matter is Bill Belichick, he lost some pieces down there, man. You get rid. I mean, Tom Brady is out of there, and a lot of other people begin to retire and move around. But can he still coach, football? I believe he can. And I think he's going to prove it at North Carolina. But at the same time, when you don't have the horses, man, to run your scheme, you're going to get what you're going to get. So, I don't disagree with you at all. I don't agree with you at all, Danny. I think that with Mike McCarthy, when he lied, first of all, how many people get a chance to lie on their interview or their resume? I mean, how many people get a chance, an opportunity to lie on their resume, especially in a hiring procedure where you're trying to go after a job. And in this case, he was trying to get the head coaching job, and he laughed about it later on that he lied to Jerry Jones. So that in and of itself is grounds for termination. So again, am I putting all of it on Mike McCarthy? Not really. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that he wanted. That's the reason why he got rid of Kellen Moore. There was a lot of things that he said he was going to do and do better. And personally, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought on a couple of those goal lines, man, I thought they should have put Lil Deuce in there, man. I think Lil Deuce is so small, he could have found that crevice on one of them runs, but they called the first run to Lupke, the fullback. He gets stopped. Then Dotto gets stopped. And I'm here to say that Rico Dotto is not the long-term answer. They've been trying to force Rico Dotto to take the first position because they sensed that he was a little hesitant because Zeke was back. But even when he started to assert himself, I mean, don't get me wrong, his last couple of weeks have been solid. Been solid at best. Ain't been great, but it's been solid at best. But he's not the long-term answer. Yeah, Rico Dotto is not the long-term answer. I'm hoping that Dallas, I think they would get somewhere around the 12th or 11th pick in the draft. I think it's a 12th pick if I'm not mistaken, though. And somehow, man, if Ashton Jeanty falls to the Dallas Cowboys at number 12, they got to jump on it. I don't know what they probably, will be thinking, because at this point, I don't trust none of the decision-making, man, that they're making in terms of off-season acquisitions, because the opportunity to get someone like a Derrick Henry, they passed up. I remember a year before that, they could have had a shot at Jonathan Taylor. They passed up on doing that. Because why? They're trying to follow the trend while devaluating the running back position. It kind of reminds me when you go way back to the 1998 draft when everybody was passing over Randy Moss, and it got to the Dallas Cowboys, I think, with the number 11th pick in the draft. The number 8th pick in the draft. It get to the Dallas Cowboys, and they drafted Greg Ellis, who had a solid pro career, but by far everybody knows he was not no Randy Moss. Let's get that understood. And so they talked about how all these other teams passed over Randy Moss. Well, it don't make you any smarter if you passed over Randy Moss too, and that's exactly what the Dallas Cowboys did when they took Greg Ellis with the 8th overall pick in that draft. So again, if you're sitting there at number 12 and Ashton Jeanty is on the board and you pass him over just because of Amel Kiper talking about how you can get many running backs in a later draft, and you got running backs like Terrell Davis and Pacheco out, the Kansas City Chiefs running back winning the 7th round and so forth. Man, those are hit and misses. Those are hit and misses. When they drafted Ezekiel Elliott 4th overall, and that was a high pick, Ezekiel was like that. He was that dude. Ezekiel was that dude in the beginning. But again, the problem became with that I can see is that he stopped being hungry once he got paid. Like many of those guys have done. Stop being hungry, stop setting goals, and then they started to get comfortable. And herein lies the problem. I tell you what, Dan, if you want to come on, all you got to do is send me your email. Just send me your email, and I can invite you on to it right now. But yeah, we're talking about, if y'all are just joining, this is the replay show. We're talking, this is the post game. We're live talking about the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Washington Commanders 23-19 on a last, I can't even say last second field goal, a last second touchdown. And the route is just a simple fade route where you just go up and high point the football. There's nothing complicated about that. They rep this stuff, man, over and over and over again. And I truly was looking at the technique of DaRon Bland, having to play the corner position myself. I wanted to look at what is it? Was he impressed? How did he get? And maybe he feared that maybe he beat him off the line of scrimmage. Maybe that was another reason why. But I do think that DaRon Bland is that good. He could have played the ball a lot better from my estimation in terms of what I've seen of DaRon Bland. And maybe he didn't have elevation because of his foot problem. I don't know. But I know if you're out there, you have to perform. And if that was the case, that's why I say it goes back to Mike Zimmer. You don't have him in that position like that, man, with so many seconds left under 10 seconds, and you don't even have a safety favoring that side because that's the number one receiver. I had a funny feeling they was going to go for it because, listen, why else would you go into overtime knowing you're already in the playoff and run the risk of getting more of your players hurt. I think it was smart on Dan Quinn's from his position to go for the win. And that's what I would have been anticipating. That's what I would have been expecting, for them to go for the win and not to try to tie it up to extend the play over into overtime. Because all you're doing is running a risk of players getting hurt and you're going into the playoffs. So, yeah, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He went out to the jugular and won the game. And that's the kind of, play calling Mike McCarthy should have done, Danny. I think he should have did the same thing instead of settling for the field goal. I think when it was 10-9, Dallas wound up kicking another field goal. And I'm saying, look, man, you ain't got nothing to lose, but you got everything to gain. Why would you settle for another field goal when you're down there in the red zone? I don't care about you being stopped, 3 or 4 times prior to that. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Field goals keeps you in the game, but eventually it make you lose the game. So Dan Quinn saw an opportunity, man, to get this game over with. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah, let me put that in there. Let me put my email up here. Yeah, y'all give me just a second. I got my guy. He wants to come on here with me live. And we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna accommodate this brother because he seemed to have a lot to say about this game. Let me make sure this is give me just a second right here. Yeah, but we're still talking about the Dallas Cowboys and how they lost this game. It's one thing to lose a game, but it's a whole nother thing, man, to lose a game the way they lost the game. I mean, to lose a game with about 6 or 7 seconds left on the clock on a fade route. Those of you all who play sports, those of you all who play football, those of you all who have been on the gridiron, who have played on the defensive side of the ball, you know what a fade route is. You have to know what a fade route is. That's not really a complicated route to defend. It's all them routes they talk about, the bang 8, the comeback, the post corner, those types of route. This is a simple mono against a mono type of route. And you got to position your body well. You got to do all the little things, which McLaurin did. McLaurin did that to his favor, to his account. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He got his body into position. He went up to the highest point, tracked the football, and brought the ball in. Bland, just didn't he wasn't the greater opposition on that particular play. And that's that in and of itself, man. That was the whole problem. Yeah, send me your email so I can send this invite to you, and I'll bring you on here live right here in the studio, right here on the replay. So yeah, we are talking about it, y'all. I don't know what y'all think about Mike McCarthy. I think many people was talking about, man, he need to be gone. We'll give him another opportunity. But what do y'all say? Y'all check that out for me. Do you think Mike McCarthy should be gone, let go after this year, and just go ahead and just start everything all over again? Or do y'all think I know Jerry always talk about, man, how he not get these age of 89 or whatever the case may be, and he's not getting any younger, and no one is aging backwards. And do you stop and rebuild? I don't know. I do think if you do bring him back, I think you have to change your coordinator. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I've liked Mike Zimmer from in the past, but when you start hinting at if you want to come back or not, because they reported this a couple of days ago, and I get it because it's such a long season, such a long grind. And when you're over the age of 65, that's retirement age. He got his grandkids and things that he wants to do in life. So if you don't have your whole heart is in it in this business, then I would suggest that you go ahead and retire, man, and start claiming your retirement and ride off in the sunset. I'm speaking about Mike Zimmer. Because again, I think your next defensive coordinator is right there on the staff already in hiring the brother Al Harris. I'm just going to give him a shot. If I can't go get a let's say a Brian Flores, And if many of y'all remember Brian Flores, he was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, who later filed a lawsuit against the NFL. I still got to research and find out what happened with that. But wind up going over to the Pittsburgh Steelers for about a season with Mike Tomlin, where he's a defensive coordinator now with the Minnesota Vikings, who has a 14-2 record, by the way, playing the Detroit Lions later on today or this evening to see who's going to win their division. That's who Brian Flores is. He should have probably got the New York Giants job. That's why he filed the lawsuit against the NFL. I think they gave some hush money. I don't know. But I'm hoping that's not the case because it's about the principle more than anything. But they wind up hiring Brian Daboll as opposed to Flores. And now you see the results of the New York Giants. So they keep passing over the brothers like that. That's why you deserve everything you get. The same way they let Saquon Barkley leave and go to the Philadelphia Eagles. But you thought Daniel Jones was that dude as the quarterback. You give him all this money, and then he's no longer on the team. They let him go in the middle of the season. Boy, and now you see what Saquon Barkley is doing, who has an opportunity to break a 40-year-old record. If they were to play him today, which they're saying they already wasn't going to play him, but I'm just saying he needed only 101 yards to break a long-time 40-year-old single-season rushing record that Eric Dickerson held, that he set back in 1984. So you think it was Saquon Barkley's problem? No. That's why some of these GMs shouldn't be GMs, man. They shouldn't be GMs. I keep telling you, keep betting on these guys if you want to. You're going to keep losing your socks because these guys, man, I'm talking about, that's coming in, they making all this money, man, not doing anything they supposed to be doing. I mean, go look at they gave all the money to Kirk Cousins. I mean, he keep a stick up on him. I call him a stick up kid. Between him and my man that played out of Oklahoma Wave, I can't think his name. Y'all might shout that out in the chat for my man, Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford and Kirk Cousins has to be the greatest thieves that to ever play in the NFL. Yeah, they got to be the greatest thieves to have ever played in the NFL. And now Kirk Cousins have made all that money sitting over on the bench, and they got the rookie Michael Penix in there. You see? So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to us sometime as African Americans. But again, I think Mike Zimmer days are numbered. I think that he should consider retiring since he's already put it out there. I think that he should, and I think that Al Harris would do a wonderful job. It's just one, does he want to be a defensive coordinator? And two, give him the same opportunities that you've given people like Dave Campo. And if many of y'all remember Dave Campo back with the Dallas Cowboys, he was on Jimmy Johnson style. He came in from Miami Hurricanes, was a defensive backs coach. This man got elevated to being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Give me a break. He became the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So this is absolutely crazy. Let me get with my man Dan right here, man. We're gonna get you on here in just a second. Let me go to you have the link? Okay. Well, let me do this right quick. Y'all give me just 1 minute to pause. I try to make my show available to anybody want to come on. Just send me your email. My email is over there in the chat. Just if you want to come on live with me, you're more than welcome. We're gonna talk a little football. This is just a post-game show, and the season is over with as far as with the Dallas Cowboys. Some people get an opportunity to play one more week, but these boys here, they out of there. And I ain't gonna even lie to y'all, man. It's been a long season. I'm kind of glad that it's over with because I'm tired of looking at them. Let me see. Hey, if you can, just chat that email to me, and I'll go ahead and send it to you because I don't see it. You say you send it to me, but I don't see it on my email. Hold up, let me look at something else real quick here. Yeah, I don't see it. If you can, it'll be quick if you can just go ahead and just send it to me on the chat, and I'll get it. I'll send that to you because I got it where I can send it to you. I just need to get the email, okay? But anyway, yeah. So the Dallas Cowboys again, they fall to the Washington Commanders 23-19. First time it was the Dallas Cowboys with the last second heroics. This time it was the Washington Commanders. So congratulations to the Washington Commanders. They go on into the first round of playoff, even though I personally think it's going to be a 1 week, a short week. I always say you're going to go into the playoff, you get knocked out in the first round. I guess at least you can say you was in there and you got the playoff money, because at the end of the day, that's what it's really about, getting that extra check. But your vacation can be extended for 1 week, But as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys, we don't want to see this again. We do not want to see this again. Yeah, I mean, for these guys, man, Dallas they got a lot of things they got addressed in the offseason. You got DeMarcus Lawrence, whom we lost. I think after the second game of the season, we lost DeMarcus Lawrence. And he's kind of getting up there in age, and he's been paid. Of course, you got to pay Micah Parsons. Man, I tell you, Overshawn, oh man, DeMar Overshawn, when I heard about his injury, man, that he had 3 different types of injuries to his knee, the PCL, the MCL, the ACL, my head just dropped, man. I hate it for the young brother. I really hate it for that young brother, because he has a bright future, man. He has a bright future in front of him. The speed that he brings on that defense and the effort that he gives, I just hate it for him, because he suffered that knee injury last year. And there's a possibility if they don't make the playoff next year again, he would miss the entire 2025 season. That's just a strong possibility, because he hurt his knee very late in the season. So that's about a year. That's kind of what, if y'all remember the linebacker, we had Smith out of Notre Dame. He had that drop foot. I don't think Overshawn is as worse as his, but it took him a while. It took him a couple of years, man, to get back, and he still wasn't at the level in which they had projected him coming into the NFL, leaving Notre Dame. He never got back to that. I mean, he did for someone that had the traumatic injury that he had, he did a wonderful job in fighting and getting back. But that's a very tough injury, man. That's a very tough injury, man, to try to fight back from. Yeah, so let me come over here to the chat, man, and see what's happening over here. And y'all give me chat out in the comment, tell me what you think. There's a lot to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I know y'all probably sick of the whole season even talking about them, and glad that they're on vacation, and look forward to rooting for the other NFL teams or whatever. I'm a football guy, so it's one of those deals where I'll still support the NFL and like to see great football being played. But it sucks when you root for a team, man, and they're not in it. Which last year, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, after they lost to the Green Bay Packers, I'm on record. I got shows to support what I'm about to say. I said I wasn't hanging my hat on them in this 2024 season. Nah, you know how people say, "Oh man, I'm not going." All I did was quietly came here, talked about them, did the post game shows about them. But as far as trying to, spitting fire, breathing hard, your head discombobulated. Nah, I wasn't feeling any of that, because I saw the writing on the wall, weeks ago. And as my man Dan said, he saw it before when they first hired Mike McCarthy. He knew they wasn't going to be anything when they hired Mike McCarthy. So, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, you can't keep dancing to the same song and you expecting to get a different result. It's the same thing. Dak Prescott got his $60 million. He come up with a hamstring, which I really wish Jerry would have waited. Now, most people argue that point and say, well, who would you bring in? My thing is, I think when Dallas had about 4 wins, and I hate that T word. I hate even saying it. I don't even want to say it. But, man, look, what are you trying to get into the playoffs for when even if you'd have made it, let's say if you'd ran a table, you wouldn't have lost the game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you think in the first round that Cooper Rush was going to get the Dallas Cowboys where they ultimate goal, where they're really trying to go, which would have been the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl? What happened? They're not beating the Detroit Lions. Facts. They're just not beating the Detroit Lions. And I doubt if they would probably beat the Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings. So come on. I mean, You winning games and so forth. And I get it. It's your job to go out there and give the the optimal performance. Um, but at the same time, it's like, man, yeah, it could be a little bit of an oxymoron. I get that too. But at the same time, man, y'all, the reality is y'all wasn't going any place. And you trying to win games for what? Need to be trying to look towards the future and get better. Now, for those guys who are on the bubble, this was an opportunity to put at least one game on tape or do something for your future. I get that. Like Lil Deuce, I think Deuce, you can't expect a man, you want to release a man, but you don't even put him in game or put certain packages in for him to make him successful, like they did with Turpin. See, Devontae Turpin had a sit down with Mike McCarthy after last year, and he wanted to be, get acclimated more into the offense as opposed to being, labeled just a return guy. Those are the kind of conversations that you got to have. And I hate the fact that everything played out the way it did for Deuce. Now, do they bring him back? I mean, did he put enough? He had some nice runs. He had some really nice runs against the dominant front four. Deron Payne ain't no joke. So, but was it enough? No, that's pretty much what I'm saying. I guess the jury would still be out on that. But I do know this, that Rico Dotto is not. I'm gonna repeat, he's not the long-term answer. So again, if they're sitting there at number 12 and Boise State's running back who finished second in the Heisman Trophy ballot is sitting there and you don't draft him, that lets me know you're not trying to win. You're not trying to win. You're just not trying to win. I'm just convinced you're not trying to win. You can tell me all this about, Oliver at Oklahoma State, he lost his line, but he didn't have that good of a year. We can go draft this guy in the city. You can do all of that. But I'm saying, man, go get the young guy that you ain't really got to pay that much money to right now. If you're really trying to get back quick. In the words of Jerry Jones, I don't have a lot of time or years in front of me. If you're trying to get back quick, start with your run game. Then go draft. You got a couple of young offensive linemen. I think they're going after this rookie season and Guyton, and you might have to upgrade your right tackle and turn Steele. But I think, and then get you a right guard because Zach Martin is on the back end of his career. I think that if you get you probably the running back you need, the right guard that you need, maybe the right tackle. BB is going to be all right at center. You may have to draft you another linebacker for security reasons. Now, maybe get some, try to find a stud in the later round. And I'm saying a playmaking safety. If you can do those things right there, I think, the sky it could be the limit again. Especially if you bring in now I know this is a long reach because you got to pay, like I say, Michael Parsons. You just paid CD Lamb, but they talking about releasing Devontae Adams from the New York Jets, but how does that look? Because he's gonna still want his money, so that may be far-fetched thinking. But I mean, I like some of the things that Jalen Tolbert did, the receiver. They got some young guys, Flanor and Jalen Brooks and them. But are those guys gonna be the guys that's gonna put you over the hump? Talking about next year. Because again, if you don't address those positions, especially those skilled positions, you're gonna find yourself back in the same position that you saw yourself this year. So I don't know. I really don't know. Danny, man, I tried to get you. You sent the email. I'm looking at my deal. Give me just a second. Let me double check again. Hold on, man. I want to get you in here. I said if you can chat it to me, man, I can go right now. I can pull it up. It's a lot faster that way. Let's see. Yeah, if you still on with me, man, just chat that to me. Just chat it to me like I sent you my email, and I'll get you in here. So yeah, so the way the NFC is shaping up right now, you're gonna have like I say, this late game this evening between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. That should be a real barn burner. the Minnesota Vikings have to go into Detroit and try to win that division. Was the NFC North. Um, that should be a really good game. And those are the kind of games, man, you got to be so careful. You got to be careful in those type of games, man, because it ain't no love loss. It's not no love loss. Injuries do happen. It's a part of the game. But man, if you were to lose your quarterback or one of your top receivers or anything, man, I would hate to see that on either side. I'm not one of those guys be wishing guys are hurt and they're not playing and this, that, another. I want to see teams at their full strength. I want to see them at the full strength because that's what it's about. I want to see them at their full strength. So it won't be any excuse. You eliminate all excuses. So that game this evening between the Vikings and the Lions, that's going to be a very, very tough game, man. It's going to be a very tough game. And, I can't even call it outside of the fact that I do think Detroit will find a way to win that game. But, man, I just think, man, they got to be – I hate to be – put it like this. I hate to be either of the head coaches in that game because, man, you're talking about potential risk or potential injuries. I know they have something to play for because they're trying to vie and get that home field advantage throughout the NFC. And that's important because you get that first week off. But at what expense? I question. That's the only thing I question. At what expense? And I know we got some Detroit fans out there, man. Detroit Lions fans out there, and they're going to be rooting for them Lions. And, again, since the Dallas Cowboys are not in it, that is one team I wouldn't mind, just like last year, I wouldn't mind seeing them take it all away simply because of the history of Detroit, the city itself has gone through so much. It was kind of like the time, back in 2009, I believe it was, when New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl over the Indianapolis Colts. Everybody was kind of rooting for them, based on Hurricane Katrina that happened in 2005. That's the kind of feeling I kind of have with the Detroit Lions. They've never been to the Super Bowl, never played in the Super Bowl. They played in one NFC championship game that I can remember. That was back in 91 when they was still the Washington Redskins, and they came up short after defeating the Dallas Cowboys the week prior. But other than that, shoot, man, they haven't even sniffed the NFC championship game. So, that's one of those deals where, you got to play it all the way out. It's still going to be tough. I think the Los Angeles Rams, I think that they've been kind of scrapping the last few weeks, and they've gotten better. And as we say, on any given Sunday and now any given Saturday, anything can happen. But again, still got a little bit of football to play, and we're a long way from there. But that game should be a really, really good game. I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know they defeated the New Orleans Saints to get in and wrap up the NFC South. But there are a lot of question marks about them. I think in the ebbs and flows, man, they too inconsistent, if you ask me. They're kind of like the NFC of the Pittsburgh Steelers over in the AFC. You don't never know which team may show up. And that's why I don't have a lot of confidence in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because, they too lost to the Dallas Cowboys a few weeks ago. So, I think when it's all said and done, I think that the Vikings, it's going to either be the Vikings or the Rams. I think if it shakes out that way, I think them two would play for the NFC championship in my estimation. But so, we shall see. But again, shout out to the Dallas Cowboys for a gallant effort. I mean, they didn't. They say, how the song used to say, your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. They could have, been looking at the vacation plans over in the Bahamas, but I saw some players trying to play, man. I think they came to play, but once again, that old, nostalgic of yesteryears kind of bit us in the butt towards the end right there, and it was all about scheming. And again, they didn't scheme that defense right at all. Dolores. Shout out to Dolores. She asking the question, what do you think about the Ravens? What do I think about the Baltimore Ravens? Um, wow, that's a great question because they nemesis has been, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have been their nemesis, like they've been the Buffalo Bills nemesis. So it's not just the Baltimore Ravens. Although we know that Lamar Jackson, who may win or should win the MVP award, he's not new to that. But the Super Bowl would be new to him. I think the Baltimore Ravens, again, they have just as good a chance as anyone else. But the problem is that number 15 from Kansas City, what do you do with him? That's the problem. And champions die hard. They die hard. And when you look at them adding the receivers that they added, I can't remember. I drew a blank with my guy. Somebody chatted out from the receiver they picked up, played with the Houston Texans. I don't know why I'm gonna kick myself 1,000 times. But they picked up a couple of receivers and got some guys back. They brought back Schuster Smith. I think it's gonna be hard to, it's gonna be hard to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I just think that and especially if the road to the Super Bowl go through Kansas City, oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one because I think Buffalo with Josh Allen, I do think because they've been in the trenches before a couple of years ago when they went toe to toe and kind of just ran out of the playoff time that was not allotted. That's the reason why they changed the rules if you're playing into overtime. I think Josh Allen would be a little more mentally built for it. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that over Lamar Jackson. Why? Because Lamar Jackson is such a talent. I mean, the man done passed for over 4,000 yards and lighting it up on the scoreboard. I mean, since he had that conversation with his mom a few weeks ago, maybe a little over a month ago, he's been playing lights out. And they have. I mean, they got the run game, they got the passing game, they got the receivers. Now, Zay Flowers went down. Unfortunately, I hate to see that. I don't know if the word is out. Maybe somebody can check that out because I don't know if they took the X-rays and they said whether or not if he just got a sprained knee or some damage to his knee. And I would hate to see that for that young man. Zay Flowers is very key to what the Baltimore Ravens like to do. But if all is fair and the field is leveled, I would like to say the Baltimore Ravens will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship game. But whether or not if they can get past this mental hula hoop or this cloud that's over their head with Patrick Mahomes, that's another story. Because again, just when you think the Kansas City Chiefs are not playing, lights out, they won. I think it was some kind of record how they won so many close games this past season without really relatively playing well. But it's not going to be an easy out. But again, those two teams right there definitely have the personnel to go in and defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's what I kind of think about it, Dolores. I think that Baltimore has a greater chance just as anybody. And I would love to see it now. Don't get me wrong. If I'm not one of those individuals, like I say, because my team is not in it. I want to see great football. Haven't played the game. I want to see if it's a Patrick Mahomes going against a Lamar Jackson. I want to see great football and may the best man win. And if Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens and company go in there and take care of business, then it is what it is. We got at least we're gonna be able to say we're gonna crown a new NFL champion this year. Let me go over here to the chat in the comments. I appreciate that question though, Dolores. Let me see. Let me see. I got my man. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again, Dan. Let me check my email. My man Danny want to come on here live with me. And I want him to come on here. Y'all can see my email. Anybody that wants to come on live, got my email over in the chat. I'll bring you on. Just let me know and I'll send you the invite. You can come on here live. Let me double check. Let me double check this again. I'm trying to get you, man. I'm trying to get you on here. Nah, it's just showing. I see you. I see your text. I mean, it's not an email. It's the same thing that you sent me. I think you sent it to me on my link on this particular stream on where I'm streaming from. You sent that to the, but it's not coming through my email. I need for it to come through my email. But again, if you have an email, just email me right now through the chat, and I can look at it, and I can go ahead and put that in and send it to you. Yeah, that's going to be the quickest and the easiest way before we wrap up this show. Again, for those of y'all who are joining me, this is the Cowboys post game show. This is the replay sports show, the replay where we still try to make your day. The Dallas Cowboys fall to the Washington Commanders again, 23-19 on the last second fade. Oh, it's almost like a fadeaway jumper. I'm just gonna say a fade route. I'm kicking myself. Fade route, a fade route. If y'all understood from my perspective, a fade route. How I'm not gonna say that it's easy to defend, but it's one of the routes that's defendable, if that makes sense. All you got to do is have a better understanding, more clarity about what the receiver's trying to do and get in and get out of. And I know it's more of from a defensive back perspective, it's more reactionary than it is being proactive, because you got to wait to see what the receiver's going to do. But you got to have the presence of mind to know what's happening. It's 6 seconds left on the clock. This team is going into the playoffs, and they're not trying to go into overtime. They're just not. If they can win it the way they was going to win it, that's exactly how you want to draw it up. So now I already know that if you're going to go for the win, that's only a few plays you can run. Down there at the end zone, you might can go for a quick slant, or you can go for what they call that when they do that in and out route, or do the fade route, because you're not going to have a lot of time. You're just not. And for DaRon Bland not to have that pregame notion in his psyche as a Pro Bowler now, defensive back, I would have rather for that. And the fact of the matter is, they lined McLaurin. They must saw something on film, because they lined him up against DaRon Bland, and didn't even go out to the corner that they just brought up. I think his name was Price. I don't even know his first name. They brought him up from the practice squad and didn't even go after him. So that says even a lot more in my estimation. So again, the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they go home. If this was the TNT NBA, they'll be saying they going fishing. So some of those guys you won't see back next year. I don't know what's going to be what the offseason, all it's going to entail, but I just gave a little bit of my perception about what I think they should do in terms of the draft pieces if they're trying to get back sooner than later. Because if you just sitting there, and you're all about your money, Jerry, then, trying to do this little pass job and all that, it's not going to get it. It's not going to get it. Let me go and see what Dolores, she commented again. She said, hold on, let me see. Dolores said, I'm so done with Dallas. We've been down this road so many years. Yeah, Dolores. I'm almost for loss of words. I mean, what can you say? I think last year, like I said earlier, done it enough for me. When they allowed the boys to come in, hadn't lost a game. I don't think they lost a home game last year. If they did, maybe only one game, but they was averaging about almost 35 points a game at home. And to allow the Green Bay Packers to come in and just basically eviscerate them on all levels and all areas, I was done with them then. I said, man, look, contrary to popular belief, Stephen A. Smith on ESPN first taking Shannon Sharp. Dallas Cowboy fans, not all of us are delirious. We ain't crazy. I don't wake up with the Dallas Cowboys on my mind. I wake up with God on my mind. So it ain't, it makes me know, never mind at the end of the day, because if you don't care, if you putting your heart or your soul or your blood, sweat, and tears into this, and you go out there and lay an egg on a Sunday like that, I mean, what you want me to do? Because if I was an owner, I'd stop payment on a lot of y'all checks. Y'all would be mad at me. If I was the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, I'm telling you right now, they come in on Monday or Tuesday, get them checks. owner Rashad done stop my check. Yeah, come on in my office and talk to him. Let me tell you the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you the reason why you're not gonna get paid today. Yeah. Oh, they better be glad they been unionized and lawsuits can be filed because a lot of them jokers, man, ain't nowhere in the world. Oh man. That's why I say when Dak was getting ready to get $60 million, 60 million. Oh man, we won 3 Super Bowls with Troy Aikman only making 5. I'm saying let's go back. Let's go back to them days. Yeah, we got 3 Super Bowls out of Troy Aikman, who only made between $5 or $10 million a year. So, yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at anybody getting their money, even on a collegiate level. But dang on it, I want to see you earn it. I want to see that you him, as they say. Let me see you that dude. Let me see when all else fails, and you have nothing in your bag of tricks but to go out there mono against a mono and handle your business like the way Michael Jordan used to do, the way Kobe Bryant them used to do. I know I'm giving a little bit of basketball analogy, but at the same time, I'm just saying, I know in football is an 11-man sport. It's the greatest ultimate team sport, because it takes 10 other guys to do a job. But at the same time, I mean, if y'all saw the Pittsburgh Steelers the other night, Russell Wilson sitting out there throwing a George Pickens and he dropping everything. He can't catch a cold. So I'm just saying, when it's your time, shine. When the lights go on, don't turn them off. It's time for you to step up. It's the same way with McLaren. McLaren was quiet the first half. Number 17 for the Washington Commanders. He was quiet. He wasn't bothering nobody. Nobody was bothering him. So they put Marcus Mariota into the game, insert him into the game. Now it becomes like, you know how it seems like once again, they didn't get the scouting report. You know, Marcus Mariota is a former Heisman Trophy winner. You do realize that, right? And you know how he won the award when he was at Oregon. He was a run-pass option quarterback, meaning he ran almost more than he passed. And what happened when the young linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys, Lil Fo, missed his assignment? Marcus Mariota took off and ran straight up the field for about another 30-yard gain. So you don't get the scouting report. I mean, make it make sense to me, guys. Make this make sense to me, because Marcus Mariota come in and him and McLaren just started hooking up, man, like they've been playing together for the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, he made some heck of a catches, over the middle of the field. One of them I thought he didn't even hang on to, but it is what it is. And when you see these guys, guys coming off the bench doing what they doing, that lets me further know that y'all didn't do your homework. You couldn't, because I would have even said I don't see them playing Jaden McDaniels this whole entire game when he has a playoff game next week. The fact of the matter that they set him down and he didn't even play the second half told you everything you should have known. So quite obviously, they should have had the presence of mind to ask the question, who is the backup? Now, I'm quite sure they did that, because that's what they do when they go in the scouting report. But obviously, they must have thought that this guy was going to play the entire game because they trying to get the 6th seed. I don't think that was Quinn's. Don't get me wrong. If he could have probably put up 20, 30 points in the first half, he would have done it and then set McDaniels down. I'm saying McDaniels. I think it's Daniels. But anyway, he would have set him down. But I'm just simply saying, at some point, when do you ask yourself, man, is he going to sit him down or are they going to put Marcus Mariota in? If they put Marcus Mariota in, what is his strengths versus his weaknesses? Because you can tell automatically when he got in the game, he was running the doggone option on the Cowboys. Then when they couldn't stop that, he had made a couple of nice throws. So, again, that what makes me feel like the Dallas Cowboys, they may need to do just an overhaul. I mean, I just don't. Mike Zimmer, I'm glad he put it out there. I don't foresee him coming back. I'll be surprised. I think he will resign on his own. That's just my personal feelings. Because again, he's 67, and he talked about it before with his grandkids and his daughters and all that, man. And football is a long season. It's a grind. It is a grind. So give it to them young blood. The young blood. I wouldn't even begin to look outside until I have set down Al Harris and interviewed Al Harris, because Al played the game. He's a player's coach. You know, I think he'll do a heck of a job. I seen one of my good friends who was in business. I did a couple of business. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, he owned 31 properties in Houston. That's my boy Aaron Glenn out of Texas A&M. When he retired, he was in business, and look at him now. He goes and be the defensive coordinator with Dan Campbell with the Detroit Lions. And, you know, of course, he didn't start with a DC job, just like with Harris. Harris is assistant defensive back coach, but he was a defensive back coach, assistant defensive back coach with the Cleveland Browns. He left them. I think he went to the New Orleans Saints for a minute. And next thing you know, because him and Campbell have history with the Dallas Cowboys and Texas A&M, he brought him over to Detroit, gave him the defensive head coaching duties, and look what he's doing. Look what Aaron Glenn has done with the Detroit Lions. Look what he's done. So don't tell me you can't go elevate this man, Al Harris, and he'll come in and do a wonderful job. You got to give him a chance. You have to give him a chance. You give all them other boys a chance that don't look like us. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. You give all them other boys a chance, 31, 32, 33 years of age, and just thrust them into like head coaching positions. And all they've ever done was assistant coach to the assistant coach coaching the quarterbacks. Next thing you know, they got a head coaching job. Shoes, man, you took Cliff Klingberg. He came up there and became the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So again, I don't want to hear that, man. And you know what? Big shout out to Deion Sanders too. Let me say this while I'm on this, because it's just, you know, he did Louis Riddick. If any of y'all remember know Louis Riddick, he does a lot of commentary for ESPN and so forth. He played in the league for like 6 years himself. He was one of the years ago, he was a player pro personnel scout for the New York Jets. But he interviewed recently with the New York Giants for the GM, the general manager position. I think he's a sharp, intelligent, insightful brother. And I really believe that he should get one of them GM jobs that comes available. You know, I just think that Louis Riddick has that pedigree in him, and big shout out to Deion Sanders because he went on record saying such. So, yeah, I mean, why not? Put us up there not only in management positions, but ownership next. That's what they should be doing. My personal opinion. Let me get back over in the chat. Hey, I see Sherry join us. Sherry with us. See, Sherry says, if I was an owner, let me see what Sherry says. What she'll do? What you'd do, Sherry? If I was an owner, I would dispute all them checks and pay me. See, Sherry right there with me. She right there with me. Dispute them all, Sherry. Yeah, let them know. Just say, you know, have a whole list of what they didn't do. And if it's just like, you know, when you fill out your financial sheet, you know, your profits and losses and all this other stuff. If you got more liabilities than assets, they say you're bankrupt, right? I have a whole list of what you did right and what you didn't do. I'll be like James Brown. if you miss one step, or even when Lauren Fishburne said in the movie What Love Got to Do with It, you tell her if she missed one step, she'll be frying fish tomorrow. You know, him and James Brown, boy, between Ike Turner and James Brown, man, he let you know, man. If you don't told Maceo, you don't blow that horn right, you missed that one horn, you're gonna be in somebody else's group tomorrow. But yeah, that's what you gotta do with a lot of these players that's being overpaid. Bottom line. But yeah, y'all, we still talking about the Dallas Cowboys. We ain't gonna be on here too much longer. It's been a how can I say, it's been a, you know, a ebb and flow type season. You know, even with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, Pittsburgh over there in the AFC, man, I don't even know what to say. They just on this 4-game losing streak. And like I say, some of these teams gonna go into the playoffs. Yes, they're gonna get a check. Yes, they can claim that we made the playoff, but they're only just extending their vacation for one more week. Because if you didn't see anything going into the following week into the playoffs, they're gonna be just like the Dallas Cowboys. Rather if you went 14-2 and got knocked out, or you went 9-8 and barely made it and went on to the Super Bowl or went to the championship game. The bottom line is, in the words of Herm Edwards, you played to win the game. You play to win. And of course, you got to get in the tournament, as in the words of Bill Parcells, you got to get in the tournament to even be relevant. So You can't take anything away from that. I'm just simply saying, certain organizations are about Super Bowls. Let's be real here. That's why the Dallas Cowboys can continue to parade around as though they're America's team, and they are the most marketable, valuable franchise in all the sports, not just the NFL, all the sports. But organization like the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers. You at one time, I don't know, Washington kind of slipping out of that thing. Now you could almost say Washington, but I know solid, at least those 4 teams, they play to win Super Bowls. They don't play just to get into the playoffs. No, that's not how that works. That's why they have the most Super Bowls. You may can even put an asterisk mark behind the Giants, maybe, but I know those solid 4 teams that I just mentioned, they play to win Super Bowl, which is one of the reasons why, I mean, the fans are not happy with that. You think Steeler Nation want to lose the other night the way the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cincinnati Bengals? Absolutely not. You think the San Francisco 49ers fans want to be sitting at home on the outside looking in? Absolutely not. So, it works that way, man, with all these organizations. But I'm just saying the ones whom you've recognized and probably heard the most about, don't get me wrong, you got teams that are coming up like, the Baltimore Ravens. They've been pretty consistent and so forth under John Harbaugh. But and shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs now. But they're kind of Johnny come lately. It's not like the Chiefs was running stuff back in the 70s. They already won Super Bowl under Hank Stram, but I'm talking about in the late 70s, 80s, 90s. Come on, we know who the team. They was never named the teams of the 70s because that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Team of the 80s were the San Francisco 49ers. Team of the 90s were the Dallas Cowboys. So, and the team of the early 2000s were the New England Patriots. And let me throw them in there. So those fans are looking for these teams to advance further than the first round. It's either the NFC Championship game or get to the Super Bowl. Ain't no other way to perceive it. So yeah, Sherry, I would definitely say, to dispute all late checks. Let me come down. Daddy, man, I don't know what happened. I'm getting ready to wrap this thing up, man. I wish you could have came on live with me. I know I'll come back on during the playoffs, but if you can send me your email again, and if anybody want to ever come on live, that's the criteria. Just send me your email, and I'll send you an invite, and I'll bring you live with me on the studio, and you can voice your opinions about it. This is a friendly show, and like I said, we do this just to have fun and talk about these professional sports as well as college sports. So again, the Dallas Cowboys close out the season with a loss, and it's not how they started the season. I would have liked to have said they closed out the season the way they started the season with a win, but we can't say that. So I don't know if this is a telltale. This is 2025, and I don't know if they'll go into next year with a loss, but we shall see. There's a lot of the playoff games that are going on. I'm gonna myself get ready to watch this tonight's game, the Detroit Lions, and I know Blessings she'll see this at some point. She's a diehard Detroit Lions fan. I told a big shout out to y'all. Y'all need something down in this city. I mean, I'm not gonna disturb y'all Detroit Lions fan. Have your fun. Y'all definitely have earned it. You got my guy coaching the defense, so it's all good. It's all good. So we're gonna get ready to conclude this post-game show right here on the replay. Don't forget, on Tuesday, I'm gonna be coming back with something I did for 2 years straight in the running called Metaphors of Love. Are we listening? That's on the Black Vocracy channel. If you go to YouTube, you'll see it. BLAC V as in Victor ORCRCY. Yeah. BLC. I got some time in my own doggone word. Yeah, BLAC VOCRACY Black Vocracy channel. We'll be still streaming it. I'm streaming it now through YouTube as well as Facebook. And then we'll be going live also on TikTok. That's where you get a lot of people when you build up over there. That's why I want to take it over there. We stopped it for a little bit, but I had some people DM me question asking if I was going to ever come back with that. So I only got 2 channels, y'all. I got the Black Vocracy channel where we talk about the social issues. We get serious on that channel. We talk about what's going on within the African American community, amongst other things. This show here allows me to lighten up a little bit, have some fun with the sports that I so much love and enjoy, having played it and coached kids for 11 years. And so I do this show as well. So anytime y'all can see my content, let me know if you're liking it or not. Please tell a friend to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification button. It is free. I'm continuing to try to grow the channel. So this has been another episode on the Replay Sports Show. We're gonna be back again. Just because the Dallas Cowboys lost don't mean that we're gonna stop doing the show until we go into basketball season. Y'all know I'm looking for my Dallas Mavericks to get me. So, but anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming on with me doing this short spell. The Dallas Cowboys again fall to the Washington Commanders 23-19. And so, as they say, it's time to go fishing, Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully, man, you have a great off season. Get healed up. And let's get ready to do it all again next year. Meanwhile, go Steelers. Go the rest of the team, and let's have some really good NFL playoff. Appreciate y'all joining me. I look forward to hanging out with y'all again. Peace and love, y'all.